Hey, it's Brian Mudd. This is my cheat sheet for Thursday, July 26th. Your smartphone may have just become a little bit faster. Well, at least if you had 4G LTE and you're an AT&T customer. AT&T has completed much of its South Florida build-out now of its 4G LTE network. It had already been on with Miami and Fort Lauderdale, meaning some folks towards the southern end of Palm Beach County may have been able to get some faster data speed, especially if you traveled in Lauderdale. Well, AT&T completed yesterday the build-out through Palm Beach County. So now if you have a 4G LTE capable device on AT&T's network, you now get the speed, the true speed that your phone was supposed to deliver. Over the course of the coming months, AT&T is going to continue to work on the build-out throughout Florida. Hopefully we'll have the Treasure Coast online before long. True to the housing numbers, good Lord. I mean, I get frustrated with awful reporting on a daily basis, but just the dearth of understanding of some of these numbers really drives me nuts. A couple things here. We had new home sales numbers, and everybody was screaming about how they were down over the previous month. I don't really care what they looked like against the previous month. The numbers that matter, the numbers that always matter the most when you're talking about really any company in any industry, but especially when you're talking about something as cyclical as housing with as much of a seasonal component, you always look at the year-over-year numbers. Where were we this year, same month, versus last year, same month? And new home sales, which to begin with, I'm not thrilled with the idea of new home builders going out there and building a ton of new homes to begin with. I much more care about the existing home sales numbers as we look to reduce inventory still in many parts of the country. But regardless, name one non-technology based industry. In fact, name any industry that's been around for more than 100 years that's growing 15% year over year. Because while there was all this consternation yesterday, that was the new home sales number. New home sales rose 15% year over year in June. 15% year over year. That number really matters. There's a dramatic year over year improvement in new home sales. So don't get caught up in all the other stuff that the bad reporters were trying to take you down the path of yesterday. Customer service, holy cow. If ever the Stones were prophetic, it's with customer service. I don't get no satisfaction at all. We are at a new documented all-time low in customer service satisfaction. Not necessarily just generally, but when we need customer service help. We only have a 21% satisfaction rate. Arizona State University just completed the latest research study over the past year. 21% of the time that we need help, do we actually get it in a satisfactory way? And the average number of calls it takes to get to that unhappy place, 4.4 calls. And I understand, I have dealt with some of this recently myself. It is maddening. Well, we know some of the ways that you can go ahead and make some progress with customer service. Oftentimes is get me to your supervisor. Sometimes that doesn't work. One of the ways is to get out of that department. Now, a lot of times we don't think of it, but customer service is a department within the company you're dealing with. If you get outside of that and get to a manager in a different department, they might not suck quite as bad as the incompetent people, apparently, that we're dealing with in customer service. But here's the more effective way. Increasingly, and I talked about this probably a year ago, but increasingly, companies are responding quickly to people who put out legitimate complaints, not just, bitching and moaning on a social media site, but legitimate customer service needs listed on a company's Facebook page, getting better and quicker and more satisfactory results than any other tactic. So if you're at, 4.4 calls and you're still not there, take it to the social media page. But be constructive. Don't be like the malcontents that just try to pick a fight. All right. Banks. It makes sense to break them into two. A lot of people don't like hearing this from me because I'm supposed to be the defender of the free market for enterprise. But in this particular case, and I've been calling on this for a while, the big banks, Sandy Weil, who was one of the big architects with Citi back in the 90s, putting together these huge banks the way they're currently constructed, the one thing I've called on for some time is getting rid of the investment banking business from the traditional bank. All right? The difference there would be that anytime you had some derivative trading loss, things that even the banks don't understand sometimes, it could never harm the traditional banks. Now, critics will tell you that it will give other banks better edge in the world markets to deal with some of these bigger transactions. But where is that getting any of these banks? Are they doing well because of it? Are some getting crushed? Are some going under? So if we want to leave that to other countries and let our banks be banks and let the investment banking side be investment banks? I don't see the problem there. Hey, that's the cheat sheet for today. Plenty more on the physical cheat sheet. Enjoy yours. See you tomorrow.